Welcome back to Timberborn and our Oasis playthrough, or BeaverBrook IV, on the experimental branch. I never know what to say with that, but it is the experimental branch. So this is if you've not seen this before, these are the new, mainly the new features that are going to come through in the version 1 release. They've just announced, I think it was later last year. So that's why I'm trying to play a lot of this, because obviously once it does release, sort of this experiment version doesn't technically exist anymore. So I'm trying to get through this, and we've got a few things in this. We've still got potentially another map to do, pressure, which looks really complicated. So I chose this one, and we're playing this on normal as well. We're not playing this on hard mode. We tend to do the folktales, so I do I do for my own sins on BeaverBrook IV, which is the Iron Teeth hard version, on the stable version, if you like, and that's on the channel. Last time we got the carousels working, and they gave me a +3 on the well-being, so that's pretty good. So my system of this debacle here does work. We're now waiting for the Fountain of No Joy, and unfortunately, I suppose in some respects, it doesn't really have much of an effect over here, but it might look quite nice. And I could build a couple of little things out here to, do it, but I was just going to do it anyway. Obviously, it may or may not have much effect, like I said, on the thing, and I don't know whether it's going to yet get built. But we are down there, and it still says it's too far, so I have absolutely no idea. The reason why is, that's right, it doesn't have the this yet. We're missing these two, so we'll get that. It'll solve that self in this playthrough. We are in a bad time, and I'm not using this water at all. This is obviously shut off. This is our valve for the this here, which still has some water in, but it's absolutely pointless to do anything. Now, if I just show you here, we are relatively only two. As you can tell, this is going to take quite a while to fill. It wasn't my, let's say, the best idea in the world. I should have used this over here when I first started, but, this reservoir here is absolutely massive, and will give us all our drinking water that we need easy for the rest of the play. Now, I understand that I could say, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just fill this in with some of the dirt that we. What's the point? I'll leave it, and we'll deal with it as we deal with it. It is power. Well, it is powering this actually here, and actually, that's all it's relative. Well, I suppose no. It is powering this aqueduct as well. And obviously we could bury under there and get this to power, or even connect all these together and get them to all power. I mean, we've obviously got this shambolic shambles here, but we haven't got much of a choice, because that's actually powering that aqueduct, so everything's powering everything, but it's the way it is. This is a song, obviously. It's the way it is. And I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with this. Now, obviously, like I said, this is the center of the Timberborn universe. And we are starting to move these things over. And we've got this here. And I've done, obviously, a little bit of around here to allow him to walk up. And this will be now ditched in favor of this, and the reason why I built this is because obviously they can walk straight in there, but they can't do that with that. So we can now ditch that out of the way. We could get some more food in there as well, so that's not too bad. I still think the beavers themselves will. Let's actually do a 2. In fact, let's start with do a 3. I know I could press 1, 2, or 3 on the keyboard as well. But I think half the time I don't tend to... I always forget about that. We are getting rid of them, which is probably... this may go down, as we can see here. Now it's reduced because now they've not... we are going to get the potatoes again. Yes, the potatoes are back. We'll get the wheat here. Now I know it'll take an enormous amount of time to get rid of get this to grow, but more is better than less. Although we're not really worried that much anymore for a while that we're food. We have the 14,000. Now I know sometimes you'd want like 20, 50,000 or whatever, but it's not reducing even though I have 214 beavers. I will be getting more. I'm just need to work out where the hell I'm gonna put them. Which is a question. Thank you, PC, for that messing with the screen again. I always think you can hear that, but you might not be able to hear the mic not pick it up, so apologies there if you can't hear it and I'm just talking out me bum. But these are all, I'm trying to get a nice, nice lines. Lines is good. This debacle. Now a lot of this doesn't need to be here. I still may have to build an extra section on the end of here. I know it's not the center, but it's not actually, the idea is not actually center, is our water seep, I think it's called, here. Oh, and this is what I want to talk about as well. Now, obviously here, this is a steam gauge, and this will come to a fruition in when this goes down back to normal water. Now, I'm obviously got this up. I daren't put this down, because obviously this was a change. Now, this did work in the early way. In other words, as long as I had the water up to 80%, this would never go to bad water. But I think it got changed. So I had to do an adjustment system. We have got obviously our bad water here. When this goes back to good water, which means it won't be able to go anymore, I'll open this. This will give us... as you can see here, this water's almost going to be done. This will give us what the bad water's going to be. As this is going to be turned on, I mean, actually, I can turn that off. I don't even know why I've got it turned on. It's an absolute pointless waste of time, because he's not going to pump anything, because there's no water, and there's no bad water anyway. But anyway, that will then drain into here, and what I'll do is I'll keep an eye on this gauge. When this gauge gets back to 0... I know I can push this up, push this down, and everything is all right with the world. It's a manual process, and I don't think there's any other way that you could actually do it. I may be wrong, but we'll cross what we say. We'll cross that bridge when we comes to it. I can see a line here, and I think I'm going to do what I want to do here. I will have to build out here, I think, and another one here potentially. It's probably not going to be big enough either, so I'm going to have to keep going. Unfortunately, though, it's going to be close whether I get another one. I'm looking at this line. This then would be able to go to here and potentially out. Whether I send this to straight would be questionable. I've got all this. The trouble is, I've got all this dirt, and I need to do something with it. And it might as well be nice to, do. This is our center actually there. I'm going to need at least another 2 of that, and I don't know how much it will allow me to do. You see, now here we go. Look, you see, it's only going to allow me to do another one, I think. It won't. It's because of this. is already out. Now, we could... Yeah, I can't really do that now, unfortunately. And I don't particularly want to destroy the trees. There is another option. I'm going to have to blast this down and make a lip, a second lip like this, extend, which then would allow, I assume, this to extend. As long as this doesn't go too far down, it will allow us to do it. I'm going to obviously leave it as is. Now, I know I've got these two trees, and I could, like I said, our center is this one. If I put the inaugural thing there, and obviously that would take up the three of this three here. I can still get round. I can do this one. So I suppose. I mean, I may not even need to do that. So maybe that's just enough. Because I've got the path here. So I may be trying to, as usual, over-engineer, overwork something that doesn't really need to happen. As soon as I get rid of this debacle, I mean, look, this is connected to here, which then connected to here, which is basically then connected to this system, which is then connected to the... it's all over the place. We want this to be the center of our universe, like I said before. So that's something that I'm going to have to keep improving as we're going along. Now, I did have this, like I said before, on here, but because I've got this now, this might not be needed. Although it's not really doing any harm in that respect. I can't do any more. In other words, I can't get another one off. That is a lovely line. That's brilliant. I could move this. I suppose I could move it closer. And we could do something with this. Again, my question of whether it wants to go this straight or we want to go this straight and then this, down here. Because we can get it over this. It is a roundabout in line with that. But that's another, question for another day. I want more beavers in. And I still can't really decide where we should build the next one of these. To start thinking about that. We're going to need a lot of land to do it. That might be the only place to be able to come up with a flat enough section to be able to do something like this. Unless I want to do something with that. Now we know that the bad water here, because I've shut this off. You remember this here? This is our bad water, and this used to go down here. Now it doesn't do anything. Now our good water will run down here. But what it might be nice to do is to get the beavers down here and cut this off, shut this off. Probably should shut it off in a drought. So we'll keep an eye on that. I should start the process of the long walk of shame, which will be, we could use this as the, so let's just, let's get that in. It costs nothing for a path. I need to get down, this is where I need to get down to. At least get the path in before I start. I'll move myself here, then here. And obviously that's where that is. So I'll just do a line here. It doesn't have to be beautiful. Bernard Matthews, beautiful. Other foods are available. Unless Bernard Matthews wants to sponsor me. Although I'd love to be sponsored by Yorkshire tea. Because I drink tea. And I do drink Yorkshire tea. Being a Yorkshireman and all. So if they want to... If you know somebody that works for Yorkshire tea. And they want to do some sort of sponsor. I know I'm only small. I'd gladly do the YouTubing and have them as a nice thing on the channel. But anyway, right. So, are we back now? Right now, we're gonna go. It's gonna come to fruition, like I said. So let's go back down and then let's discuss this. Right. This is what I was saying. Now, this has obviously got bad water in. Now, this is at 0. I don't want to open these. I'm just going to go back up. And I'm going to turn our mate. Is going to come in there. We're going to... these will both go down because they sync together. It won't sync these because they're too far away. We're going to be connected to be so. Now you see this going down. Now this is coming up. Right. This bad water is going to be pumped. Once this goes down to nothing, I know that this is clean. This was the only way to know. I do not want bad water in this section. I know there's not a lot, and if you dissipate all this, it'll be next to nothing. But that's not the point here. The point is that they're going to... Now, also, this is relatively full. Now, this is a major issue. So what I'll do is... I can get this going. Now, this uses bad water, and these will use bad water. So let's get them going. Yeah, it's fine. Then they'll nick the bad water from here, which means then this isn't going to be a problem. That's why I turned this off. So they cannot use that bad water to fill it back up again. It's automatically... Blah, blah, blah. Automatically... Clearly that's an English word. It's going to be used from here. Now I know it's a pain, but we cannot allow this bad water to be used until this gets down to 0. Once this contamination is 0, obviously they're now going for sleepies, so we'll go back to that in a second. I just wanted to explain that because people may not know how that works or my idea behind that, which is something, you know, other people will handle that in a different way, and that's fine. Although I'm not too sure of the best, and we want to plant crops. Potatoes again. Potato crop. Like I said, I could make this looking nice, but I've just left it as is. That one's going there. I don't know where this is going to go. Like I said, we could use this one for potentially here to allow them to... originally, this... Obviously, this is going to here to bad water. Now, obviously, this bad water, they're going to go into there, and jump, as you can see them. Oh no, he went a different way. Let me be where you did do what I wanted to do. But anyway, I suppose you wouldn't anyway because this is turned off, so you're not going to fill that in. But that's jumping from there, then jumping from there, jumping from there. So we're going to need to relatively solve that problem. Like I said, it would be nice to do it from maybe this one. We can do 2 connections, so we can have a connection down here and a connection down there. Again, I could extend this, which I might actually do. And I was saying this before, is unfortunately the way this is, it's even, which, as you can imagine, trying to extend that to a 1 just does not work. It would be nice potentially to have an 8 there instead of a 6, so they can walk out and do it. And then we might, as I said in the last one, have this massive earth excavator. I'm going to, if we do, I'm going to have to build that within... it's an ending game, so once you've done it, you've sort of done it, if you like. Which we could end it early. We don't have to do 50 videos. We've achieved what we've achieved. Now, is this enough now? Just let me see. Contamination's at 0. There we go. So I'll turn this off. This, you can stay there. It doesn't really matter. Now this comes down because I've got no contamination now whatsoever. I'm free to get this water back in to the system, and that's how I run it. I hope that actually explains it, because some people maybe new to the game and not get that concept or want to play it anyway. I'll now, what I'll now do is, because obviously, is this pause? Yes, it is pause. I can see the P. I'll now don't really need the dirt extra going because it's going to be full again, but it doesn't really matter. I'll turn these back on because we've got, and then they'll do the filling. So that's done. How are we doing when I were... Well, look at that, my friends. It absolutely flipping works. Well, that's a screenshot if I've never seen one. No, that was a bit stupid. I just, I wanted them planks back. I can't do that now, so I'm going to have to build the plank back up again to get that plank. Is it a 2 or is it a 3? Whatever it is, it probably did a 2 there. No, it's a 3. I'll have to build that back up so they can walk and get that stuff. Because I want this on its own. I don't want that there as well. We may have to do something else, but that looks amazing. In fact, I only got 1 for that. And you would normally get a lot more. The Fountain of Joy. Although I don't know what it's actually worth, but I think it's probably worth a lot more than what that's saying. The only way to... Well, I don't think I can accomplish that much with that, but it would be the better if it was anywhere near here, you see. Ooh, thinking about that. What have we got here? Ooh la la. We have this, don't we? That's our really, really long way of getting this down. Now, the only slight snag is that how would I get the water up to it? It has to be, as you can see, I'll have to think about that and see where we want to build another one. It's got to be fed from this. If it's like this, it's perfectly fine. Which means I would have to sit it in its own... I don't like that idea at all. This is why I think this is a real pain in the... I hate this Fountain of Joy. That's why I call it the Fountain of No Joy. Because it's a real pain. I wish it would actually take water. In other words, underneath it, which what I was originally doing, which was you build some piping and send the water to it. Which in theoretical terms, in reality, you would actually do that anyway. You know, you'd have some... Now, whether you need power to it, you know, or at least something to get it there. But obviously, I suppose it's a Pigz. The Pigz don't have any form of that. You can send power, but you can't send water in a pipe because we don't have any form of that at all, which is quite disappointing, I suppose, in this game. I mean, that's probably one of the things it does lack. Anyway, to grab water, send it through to somewhere else with the power. You then got the water, you then got the power, and you could have the Fountain of No Joy, or you could have the Fountain of No Joy in the thing in the center. And it sends power and it sends water. I know that would be a hell of a... maybe that's going to be a Timberborn 2. Maybe they're going to do a Timberborn 2. Anyway, we digress. We should technically, now this is full, be able to open this valve. Like so. Which now you can see it going down. Now it's rushing in there like a bad thing. I could now turn this on to get this back going again. Now, it obviously will have to get full before it starts. And I'll wait for that to... Now she's starting. It's going to take a few seconds. I haven't got many planks left, though, but I have got 1,000 logs. Let's bash these out, just in case. Let's start our mammoth on our idea here. I think it's worth it. I'll probably have to run this as this here as a path, maybe. But I haven't decided. Now, I know we're using a lot of, again, a lot of these, but I know, no, I don't like that. Even though it's not going to be seen. No, don't do that. Oh, no, do a line. A line. Thank you. Sorry, sometimes it gets me slightly angry. It's a stupid thing. Do a line. We'll do a 2. I'll only do it to there for now, and then we'll do that, and then it'll come and build that. Obviously, a 2 and a 2. The other was a 2 and a 2. That's why I chose the 2 and a 2. I'm going to turn this down slightly to a 2. I want to get more of this debacle. We have got the maple. Now, the maple obviously makes sense to be close to the maple. But there's no reason why I can't move the industry somewhere else. If we could get these zip lines, I like the zip lines. In the Iron Teeth so far, we haven't done any of the tubing that they've got, and obviously the tubing runs very similar to this, to the power shafts, because the principle's the same. You know, but the one decent thing about them is they could run through the bad water because it's a tube. So, you know, there is that. Actually, I could control this and make this higher for sure. There's no reason why I probably couldn't do some sort of increase in height with this, although I don't like that idea. I'm still thinking about this fountain of no joy. I could let it run over there. Bearing in mind this is water, so as long as it gets enough water in there, but it needs to be, say you embedded the fountain of joy on this bottom, it needs to hit this top level to be able to get the water in. Now, because we've sit this in water, it's always going to run. I mean, look at the spiritual influence on that. It's absolutely... The only thing that's more is the earth excavator. You know? I've done that. That's been done. You know, everything's coming from here. Now they're going down and having a way all the time. Now, we can, up to now, because they're going down there, and I don't want this to happen, because this isn't how I envisage them doing what they're doing. I'm going to cut this out. And then we're, because we've got this going now, until I decide to have to rebuild this thing. Yeah, but you're not going to do that forever. The whole point is you were going to come through this centre, go down there, and then go for the downsaws. And do the boogieing. You'd have to boogie how I want you to boogie, not how you wanted to boogie. Yeah, so now they'll have to come down here, go into these, and then... there we go. I mean, obviously they're already getting this, but you get the idea. And we can see them like, look at the ball go. They're like a torrent of... The trouble is, I can't really move this. Anyway, I'm trying to think of a decent way of... while I'm thinking... It's always... I want this down. I'll probably keep this here. But I don't want to... Obviously, it's planks, you see. And I'm down on planks, even though I'm making planks now. I didn't want to bake them before because I was down on logs. And I know I started cutting this as well, but my resin is okay. Oh, this has been built now. I've got to decide how I want this, and I don't want them like this, but I could do that, and then I could have another one. You see, I don't think it'll allow me to do that. It's very finicky on where I have these. So let's just do another one, and then we'll work that out once that's in. That'll give me the nod to this. I'm going to have to move this if I'm going to do it 2 here. I'd rather have 8. Because like I said, if I want to have the bad water to there, done. You know what I mean? A nice straight line. We like straight lines. Being an ex-joiner when I was a kid, straight lines is imperative. I don't know. It just gets me. It winds me up if I see some. Oh, you know, I wanted to. Oh, that was. Oh no, I wanted 3. It's like this here when I had to do it. Oh, it really was not going to the place that I wanted it to go. We can also tidy a little bit of this up. This isn't used anymore, which is slightly better. These I don't think are actually going to be used anymore either because they're going to go out from their of what they've got to something else. Now, there's no reason why we can't sort of move the showering system to here. I understand it's a long way away. Even though, see, the thing is we need to get them to come to this because they're only doing 31 at the moment. That's because the reason why it's having an influence here is because the water. But we need more of them to come here. So I need to give them something that they need to, you know. So I need to work away. Maybe originally we had these here, and obviously they are using them. But if I can work a way to move them, and let's say the showering system, for an example, more of the beavers, possibly all the beavers, because they all want showers, will go past the fountain, which will give us a bonus. Well-being is very important in this game. Obviously, I've got everything else here. Now, they see this wet fur. This wet fur's low. Because of, obviously, we need to increase that. Campfires are so-so. Roof terraces so-so. I haven't got the Aga yet. I think that needs power as well. Or it needs to be dumped into water. But I'm not too sure how that's going to work. We've got no scarecrows, we've got no wing gauges. They're, you know, with farm inventor and everything like this. We are doing this, like I said, here. Mud pit's not too bad. Books is something we may want to have in the industry. And I still don't really... I'm still umming and ahhing about where the industry should be. The problem being is it's power. Power in this game is always the problem of having where do you put everything? Because obviously the industry needs power. And if it's not put anywhere, I don't particularly like it here. But at the moment, I don't really have much of a choice. Or I can't think of any sort of choice for it. So, this actually works. I wasn't too sure whether that was going to work. It's a bit mental. But it looks good. We're now going to need the... well, we're going to need to smash this out. Like I said, my idea is to move this. Unfortunately, the way this is done... oh, pig. Is I haven't really got much of a choice I didn't think this through that well. The reason why is they cannot get around this. Because of these. I've already moved these. I'm going to have to take down this Fountain of Joy, aren't I? Oh, stupid. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But sometimes, Pigz are an idiot. I didn't think about the problems I was going to have here. You know what to say, you live and learn. So, I'd have to double... If I move this, I'd have to move it one down. Get rid of it, which I might as well, because I'm going to have to move it anyway. Like I said. They're going to have to pick all this up. Hopefully they can pick it all up. Yeah, they can pick it up. But at least we know it works. That's the first time I've actually done something that's decided that... I wasn't too sure whether it was going to work. But now we know that it does work. I'll do this. Should I get rid of that? Yeah. Go boom boom. In fact, could I go boom boom there and just get rid of this? Get rid of this shelf. Do I do get rid of all the shelf and just move it back? Or do I just... Nah. I have this thing about blowing everything up. It must be a man thing. I'll get rid of that because that's slightly annoying. I do like the explosions in this game. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. They don't let me out very often, as you can tell. Then I need to connect that to that. Is that right? Yeah, that's there. This would need a 2. Unfortunately, though, that is high. I've got to be careful because we know the Fountain of Joy can be a bit of a finicky flipping thing at the best of times. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till all this is built to know whether when I put something in here, it will work. Because I might have to go out an extra 1 because this needs to lower. Obviously, I was extending this to do potential water. To be honest with you, that might be an idea to do first before we get down to the nitty-gritty here. Of doing this. Right, we'll leave it as is. We'll let it build that and then work out where the Fountain of No Joy needs to be. Right, let's put this back on. No, I'll turn this water off for a second. I should have done this ages ago. Apologies. Let this start to fill and wait till it... I know I could have done it, like I said before, I could have actually redesigned this to do a thing and be able to get double amount in there. Because obviously now the water's gone down to... We did have a 2, it's gone down to half because of the size of the thing, and I'm not... you know, I'm messing with it, but really it's a pointless waste of time, I think, as I said in the last video. This... I can't... I'm still trying to work out what I want to connect to what. That can't connect to that. Obviously that can't... Well, I suppose it could go through here instead of going through there. We've still got a path. That's relatively no good anymore. Well, I'll take it out and we'll get the resources back. My idea is to get rid of this line, this, and this as a thing. I've got to start somewhere, and so I might as well. Unfortunately, I can't connect that to that because, again, we can only have 2. Well, I could connect it to there, but then I wouldn't be able to. You sort of could. I mean, this here could do with it being another one, like another one of them, you know, but not. I know this is absolutely bonkers, but I like the idea of bonkers. Bonkers. Oh, that's that stupid song. Some sort of oh, I can't remember who it is, and it goes bonkers. Gets a man wick. I don't know why. It's just so stupid. And then people think, oh, that's funny. No, it's not. I know we don't like to use it. I know I was with some of the other guys from Australia, and they don't like to use the word retardish or stupid in the hit. Oh, I got absolutely pummeled for that. I said no, I didn't mean it in a that sort of way. It wasn't meant to be a thing, as in silly. And they knew. Oh yeah, we know what you mean, Pig. Well, if you know what you mean. But anyway, that's digressing. I'm trying to think of what I can put on. Woo, that's not what I can put on. To spruce this. We want to spruce it up and make it look nice. Do I put a couple of these? Or do I just leave this open? I don't know. I can't really use it for anything. I mean, I blocked them all. I mean, that's, you know, thingy. I've got to get this going. Like I said, I can't really do anything until I know what the Fountain of Joy is going to be. I can't really. Now I know it's not going to build there, but we now know that it will allow us to, you know, if I push this there, it won't work. But now we know that it will work because obviously now I can pause that because it's in the water. That's the premise of this. It needs to be in the water. I need it to go over one more, don't I? Because I want them to pass this block. Like we've done there. They will walk around this. Like I said. That can go. Don't mind taking that one out. It doesn't look too shabby. That one there, and then that one there. So we've got this block here. I think it will work. Can't be any worse, can it? At the end of it, well, it could. So that Pig, it could be worse. How are we doing? I've got to keep an eye on the time. I'm trying my best, my friends, to keep this down to the hour that I keep saying that it's going to be, and then I keep forgetting because I don't keep looking at the time. We are obviously now, like I said, I'm going to do more of these before I do this, but I'm going to allow this to come through here. I suppose then I don't really have to do anymore if I don't want to do it, because I can. They've still got to get down there. Mind you, saying that now, these actually, are they walking around there? Now we know how silly this can actually be. Oh my god! I wonder if it's allowing you to walk around. Oh, you. Well, I didn't know that. Remember, I'm going to get a fur bonus as well. Because they're going to walk in the water. Hey. Now, if I can do this, and this doesn't fail, which it doesn't seem to be, let's get the Fountain of No Joy working again. Come on, boys. Get me Fountain of Joy going. Like I said, I didn't think this was going to work. Although now is it going to fail? Because it wouldn't surprise me that I'm going to take this out and it's going to go, oh no, it only worked because of that. I wish I can take these out. And I can take these out. And I can take this out. I didn't particularly want it as I've got this like this. I don't particularly like it. But you live and learn with this Fountain of Joy. I tell you, it's the nightmare of the nightmares. I always find it the nightmare of nightmares. I don't know why, but it seems to be one of my Achilles heels of the game. I get really confused with it. And that doesn't look too shabby, I don't think. I don't think they can go under there. I don't think it will allow this under like will. So why does it do that like that? It'd still be nice to walk around, but that's not the worst in the world. And it does allow me the line. Yeah, baby. And I don't need this. And I don't need this. Some of this I might not actually need anymore. I'm trying to get the beavers to, like I said, I'm trying to get them to walk around this. And then we'll have, well, the only trouble is how that, where the hell do I put these? I can't, I'm going to have to, I suppose I can have them up here. I don't have to, I'm going to have enough there actually. I'm going to get rid of this, aren't we? But this is going to go. I'm trying to the best spot. Now, the idea is I can't find them. Come on, where are you? It's got to be in the well-being, has it, these? Now, obviously this won't work because it's not. If I take this for an example, it needs to be hooked on, as we can see here. I wish they'd have designed it as a 5 or a 3 and not a 4. But that means I take these. You see, this is slightly annoying now because it's going to look a bit silly. But we know it is what it is, and we'll do that as a level. Oh, that's going to make me slightly more angry than it needs to be. And I know what you're going to say. What the? You're doing that for Pigz. I know, but if I don't get this right, I'll lose my mind. Well, I'm probably already losing it anyway, but I want to move one out again. I don't care if I build more. I've got to the stage where I'm not worried. I want that, and I want that, and I want that, and then I want to delete this. I can do it from here, actually, can't I? It might actually need to be another one. I'm trying to give a square, an inner square. It's already in the water, so it doesn't really make too much of a, you know. They are going to grab, obviously, this again. Let's work out here. I suppose it's a bit silly now, because they're going to take all this back to the storage, which just so happens to be all the way over here, which is what I should have done, was built some storage close, and then they would have pushed it in there. Never mind. Never mind. Right, this now could go in. We are now going to absolutely flood this. I don't think this is going to be strong enough to be able to do the 2. I'd be quite interested. I could build the 2. That's not the problem, because I can build right next to it. In fact, I can build 3. But I can't get it down there because it doesn't allow me anymore. Now we're, like I said, we're trying to work out where this line is. And I don't mind it. Well, that's not going to be... There's no way that's going to be a... Ooh. No. I'm trying to see that... There we go. Just look at that. That's the... Well, there's no reason why I can't move the damn thing. It doesn't really matter, does it? I'm putting this here so I know where the thing allows me to be. I didn't know whether that was actually straight. I don't think it was. I think it's actually the one where this is. Well, that's fine. But that's going to be have to do, and then I'll move that. I don't care. I'll just move it. Don't really matter, does it? It don't matter. Don't matter at all. Right. Have you sorted this out for me? You have. As a really, really nice square. So, back to our fountain of no joy again. Sorry, my friends. But Pig has to feel as if it's right. I don't want to go to there. I said that, so I wanted to sort of go to here. Then pause. Right. You can see this edge. You can see this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. Fine. You can't see that edge. So we now know. We now know that that needs to go. Yes. I'll tell you something, it's no different in my endeavours for the 3D printing. If you've not seen anything like that before, keep an eye on the channel. And you will see some new stuff designed by Pig. Which I'd, been doing that for 3 years of trauma, but I have to feel that it's right to do what I want to do. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shoot! It's not going to be thingy enough. I'm not going to put them off there because that's going to wind me up. So we're not going to have them off there. Although, the only reason why I've turned that is because it's a 4 and that's a 5. But it looks better. I don't know what you think. I think that looks nice. Nice and dandy. Now, we need planks. We need tree. I'll just allow it to be built. Let's not. I could send them up here, like I said, and then have it going down here, which then it wouldn't. I suppose it's. Yeah, I've got a plan for that. Oh, I hate my. I don't have OCD, but Jesus, you can imagine if you have how much trauma it must be. It's because of the joinery in it. That's why this has to work the way it has to work. So apologies for that. Some people will just say, just bash it out, Pig, it'll be fine. Don't be the way you are. But unfortunately, sometimes that's just what we get ourselves into. I'm not going to get any more water. I did say, now, I was obviously getting rid of this for a reason, because I didn't need it anymore. Unfortunately, that needs to be picked up. That needs to be picked up. I should have just done this one. And that. They have to walk on there to pick it up. That's why I don't want to get rid of this, because otherwise they'll not be able to reach it. It's only planks, and I know I have got aim, but let's, You normally get to this stage and you go, I don't really care, I'll just press the delete button. We don't want to do that. We definitely don't want to do that. My logs are getting absolutely pummeled. And I bet you it's because of this. It is because of this. This is the problem when you run that many logs. So I'm going to stop that now, because then that way they'll go, okay, and we'll put the logs back again. We know that that's going to move. We haven't had a bad water, so I'm just going to make sure before... We've only got 5 minutes left of our video. But I hope you got the idea of that concept, because obviously if you've not played the game before, you're interested in playing it, it's something that you need to sort of get your head around with the bad water. Now, they haven't really changed the system to bad water for a little while. I'm not saying that they are going to change it in version 1, but you never really know. I'm still intrigued to know what they're going to do. I really am. Are we going to get... Are they now going to sit back and either build something else, or are they going to do a version 2 of this and do the things that they really wanted to do? Because I know what software development's like, and also know what, not so much games. You know, I have built a few little games in the engine that they use. That I had on Google. I need to update it. That's why it's not available anymore, unfortunately. But add that to the millions of lists I've got to do. But so we're going to walk this down here, and I'm going to walk this way. Yeah, so like I said, it'd be intriguing to know what they're going to do. And it'd be nice to keep an eye on that on the channel. Because it's certainly something that if they do something else, that we could potentially invest in. Now, do I get rid of that? I think I do. Because I love this game. I also really enjoy the Whiskerwood on the channel. If you've not seen that, go and have a go see that. These two do get compared to each other, but they are completely different. But obviously, one's mice and one's beavers. But the actual micromanagement of the Whiskerwood is far more intense than this is. In some respects, it's probably over the top. It's very, you know, you make a mistake and you do pay for it. Well, obviously, we've only just started that, and it still isn't any access. So they're going to be doing more things with that. But I'm really enjoying that as well. And the mistakes that I'm making, like I said, I'm paying for. I quite like that though. We still should get the dirt excavator. And they should be able to, not the dirt excavator, the that great blooming thing there, the earth it's recultivator, which is the biggest one in the game. I only made one, you see. Now a bad water approaching, so we'll have to I'll do this now because we are at the end of the video, or very, very, very close. And I'll forget, and then I'll have the bad water in there, and I will be really annoyed with myself. So we'll shut this off. We'll shut this off, because we want to shut it off, because obviously the water's in there. We should actually, when I open that, really shut that off. That's now disabled. Remember, we've got no contamination whatsoever, which is what we want. Like I said, these don't really happen that often, so you're not really, even though I'm having to manually do it, I have to remind myself to manually do it as I'm doing it. I'm happy with the Fountain of No Joy now. I'm trying to think, the only problem being, now that is going to be a problem, is if we take this It cannot be sunk like this is. So if we take that as a givey, I better take this off before we finish. Then we do that. This has got to be increased in height. So I've got to turn this. I've then got to do this. So it's out of the water. Then I've got to see what I mean. I know it's building a hell of a lot here. Now I know I could do earth. But I'm not too sure how much is that for? That is for. I don't want it there though. That's not the one that I want. Oh, you know what? It was quite like that bit. Grease. That there. So imagine that. Now we can test it in a sec. We've got. Oh, I'm at the end. But let me just do this, my friend, and show you. There we go. Now we put that in there because it's out of the water, which it needs to be. We now can have this, and we can have at least 4, which means that there. This is going to be no use. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Apologies for being a bit later as usual, and I keep telling me I'm sort of not going to do this, but I'm doing. This is our lovely little screenshot of the new Fountain of Joy, which we know works, and I'm gobsmacked because I've had so many problems with that. But obviously, I've tried to learn what the problems are and everything else. I'll turn that on because we want to get that built again. But anyway. We will see you in the next Timberborn. Take care. Bye for now.